only son for you. Yes, we're angels. We come around once in a blue, just to show you that we love you, and we'll never leave, 'cause we are anointed. Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. We are saved. Could it be drugs? Could it be thugs or brother love? Gotta eat, so it really don't bother me. As long as we escape poverty, bracing for the worst, on the quest for the best. When other niggas quit, I put my flesh to them.
Welcome to the folks at home watching online. Today we're going to get into kind of some biology, but in school it will fall under the heading of virology. So we're going to deal with the viruses and the bugs and the bacteria and all that kind of stuff, and maybe dance around a little bit with like some stuff dealing with tumors and cancers and stuff like that. So we'll jump right in. Anybody need any paper to write with?
Oh, yes, please, grab something.
So I have a few sheets up here.
I got a couple sheets right here too.
Okay. Pass that out. Biochemistry, absolutely. That's one of my specialties. That is one of my specialties. In fact, in the new book, show everybody at home and all the families. In the new book, The Quantum Mind State, yeah, I have all of the mineral combinations as far as catalysts, analysts, synergists, which minerals go together, which minerals don't go together. So we go deep into the biochemistry. I have the herbal layouts, the herbal content as far as what minerals are in which herbs, how much minerals are in the herbs. So,
What's your book on?
45.
45.
All right. So the main thing I wanted to talk about was just people exercising and just doing the basics, since it's a classroom setting. However, we've been hit really heavy with the flu, and most of us don't really understand what the flu is and how that is probably the most dangerous thing that we're looking at right now. Okay, and I'm not just saying that because I have the herbs that you can find at www.theambulance.com. The flu is a weapon that can be loaded with anything. So when we see the H1N1 or H2N6, like we need to know what that is, and you know how these things come about, where it comes from, how it gets in our body, what it's doing in our body, what the long-term effects. All right. So I guess the first place to start is with these guys. All right? Everybody should be familiar with these guys. Right? CDC.
Center for Disease Control.
Center for Disease Control. Center for Disease Control. All right, and they define flu. Well, actually, that's where you know BS kind of pops in. You know, I like this. I like to follow the BS, right? You know, BS pops in when things like this happen. The CDC actually doesn't define flu. They define flu-like viruses. So you deal with the CDC, they won't use terminology like flu. They'll use influenza-like viruses, all right, or influenza-like illness to be exact. So ILI, if you see that, that's what that means. Influenza-like illness, and what that basically is anything that gives you either a sore throat or cough coupled with a fever. Okay? So what you have is a sore throat or a cough, is the general description, coupled with the fever, and you have a influenza-like illness. Okay? Was that a hand raise or not? Oh. All right. Now, to be a little bit more specific with this, it has to be what they would term abrupt. Okay? So what that means is that's usually 3 to 7 days as far as your symptoms is concerned. All right? So if you had a cough and that cough been lasting a month or 2 months, you can rule out flu. Okay? It's not flu.
Question.
All right? Fire away.
Question.
Fire away.
I mean, I'm a sneezer, I'm a yawner, but like one particular...
Sneezing and yawning is
I'm
two
talking
different
about
things, big bro.
25 sneezes back to back once I'm on a porch with a whole bunch of people. I mean, look, powerful sneezes, and they kept on going literally 25 times.
That's on a regular basis?
No, that was the first time that happened.
Has it happened since? All right.
When I was around those people, I never sneezed like that before in my life.
Around those people, what were those people partaking in?
They was living in,
What's going on that porch? Right, we can do a one-on-one. Yeah, we can do it one-on-one. But that's good that you that's good that you mentioned that because
I had the H1N1 shot by the way, so
we're gonna deal with that. we're gonna cross paths with those shots in just a little while. So let's understand how these things come about then. Since you brought that up, if we have anything, all right. Hopefully y'all got this because it's got to go. We're gonna keep making room. All right. Got to all go. So your symptoms. Remember, sore throat, cough, and we can throw in sneezing. We can throw in sneezing as well. And then fever. And then we might as well, since we're going to throw in fever, we might as well throw in aches and fatigue, right? So your symptoms come in 2 categories. All right? It's going to be respiratory, and then, I guess, physical. All right? Make it official. We say physical constitution. You don't have like a 10-letter word that's not official for guidance. I don't know. All right? So how this happens, let's write some stuff down. Stuffy nose, runny nose, sneeze, cough, sore throat. All right. fever, fatigue, and achy body. Yeah, body aches. All right. How this happens, so we understand where this comes from, is these viruses are airborne. So that means they get into the body one of two ways: the nose or the mouth. All right. Usually the mouth, which we shouldn't be breathing through the mouth. That's a bad practice. We all do it because the mouth doesn't have a filter system. Your nose has a filter system to filter out any sort of little bugs and stuff like that that comes in the body. They only really teach that in martial arts, so the general public doesn't really get that. So this is where your symptoms are going to come from. As that, let's draw us a little guy here. I'm a very bad artist, but since I have a big nose, this guy's going to have a huge nose. All right? That's like a really big nose. Right? And then you have big lips, so he's going to have some big lips. Neck, right? Come on down. Then we're going. It's a long neck. It's a long neck. All right? So, this is our guy here. Okay, can we see our guy? I see our guy. All right, so it's going to come in, virus is going to come in through the nose or through the mouth. So, as this foreign entity enters your body instantly wages war. Okay? And the virus is also doing what it wants to do because the virus can't replicate unless it has a host. So it's fighting for survival before it even gets to your body. Okay? As it makes its way, this is what you're feeling is basically the carnage. So you get the sore nose, the runny nose, all that is the path that the virus is taking throughout your body. So it comes through the mouth, you'll feel the mouth, you probably get the sore throat first. If not, and this is also where people get, even though it's not usually coupled with this, you get the ear infections, right? Ear infections. My mom's was dealing with sinus problems forever. So I got on the herbs, cleaned it up. But this is what you're going to deal with. So these guys come in this way, they want to come down into the lungs. All right? So basically all you're dealing with right here is just the path that the virus is taking until it can get somewhere where it can start to replicate. Where your physical symptoms come from is basically just the side effects of your body overexerting itself to try to get rid of these guys. All right? So the fever is an ancient, well, let's say like this. Every time your body deals with a bacteria or a virus and fights it off, your body stores that information so that if it ever sees that guy again, it knows how to deal with it. And most bugs, bacteria, virus, fungus, yeast, they're all separate, but you know, we'll just call them bugs, cannot replicate past a certain temperature. So your body instantly turns on the fever, raises the temperature to try to stop the bugs from replicating. The fatigue is because your body's expending so much energy, and obviously the aches are from cellular damage. Okay, you're having cellular damage wherever those guys are replicating that because your body starts to release cytokines, which are the natural part of your immune system that goes to try to fight these guys off. Okay, it's very interesting to me that whenever we learn about your immune system, they tell you white blood cells, white blood cells, white blood cells. You know, when the beef is going on, though, white blood cells are nowhere around. Okay? You get a flu, you get influenza, there are no white blood cells coming to fight that off. All right? So we'll just let you store that one away. All right? So this is where your symptoms come from, though. All right? Question? Okay. All right. So let's get rid of this stuff. Let's get rid of this stuff, and maybe let's get a visual on our guy. Maybe we'll get a little visual on our guy. So that. Sorry. No, don't. I would have been sorry if that fell. All right. All right, so let's get a little visual on our guy. This is what the star of our show looks like. And then we'll throw in maybe, what do we, all right, let's do this. Let's do it like this. Now this right here is my very bad drawing. These right here for razor blades. Okay. And there's a reason for that. It's a mnemonic device. It's to help you remember what these guys are all about. All right. So our razor blades are going to be our N proteins. Okay. So we hear about that on the news. H1N7. Those are going to be our razor blades, the N's. All right. And the reason I use razor blade is because of the action they perform. Now, our hemagglutinin, those are our H's. All right. Let's get our hemagglutinin up there. Now we see what our guy looks like. Oh, then fill his body in. All right. Let's get some RNA in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Let's do this. Let's go A, B, and C. Influenza goes in, this guy right here, the virus itself fits into 3 categories. All right. Type A always has 8 strands of RNA. Type B always has 8 strands of RNA, and type C always has 7 strands of RNA. All right. However, this guy we don't really have to worry about, and these are the guys that we really have to worry about. Really, it's this guy, type A, and the way they judge them is pretty much carnage, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. But what you also need to know before we move forward is there are copycat viruses, right? Copycat viruses. Stuff like, they got weird names for this stuff, like nose flu, nose virus. All right? For the doctors, you know, nose virus is too simple, so they don't call it nose virus. They have a technical term for nose, which is rhino. So you won't hear nose virus, you'll hear rhinovirus. It's flu. Respiratory virus, flu. And just adding on a small piece, going back to our definition of influenza-like viruses or influenza-like illness, if you don't have the fever, then it's a common cold. That's all that's separating you with the flu from a cold. If you have a fever, it's a flu, so on and so forth. So. Now this is very interesting right here. This is genetic material. This you might want to write down just to have this because it's important. When they tell you it's swine flu, let me get rid of this. All right, let's get rid of this. When they tell you, all right, most of us know that means pig. Avian, right? Most of us know that means bird. And then we also have horse. We also have dog. What else have we? Oh, we also have the mice, the rodents. We'll say rodent. Okay. These are all the places that flu comes from. So when you hear these terms, it's a little bit like they're honest with you because they're telling you, but it's almost in a way of like lessening the blow and we don't really understand what's happening. what this means is that if you get a flu, even for a few days, because most of us don't think it's a big deal, what happened in your body is that for the 3, 4, 5 days that you had that flu, say for instance you got the bird flu, this guy here is reproducing bird genes throughout your body. How many of us don't eat pork? How many of us had the flu in the last 2 years?
Oh, no, I ain't having it. No.
Right, nobody wants to own that. Because if you had the flu, you had swine flu, that means that your body was reproducing pig genes all throughout your body. All throughout your body. And even when the symptoms are no longer present, you have the genes. All right. So this is why this is very important right here. Very important. What else is very important that I could give you before I start erasing again? Oh, there are 10 types of these proteins, N proteins. These are proteins, by the way. All right, these are proteins on the cell wall of the virus. These are proteins. Coded, these proteins are coded by the RNA. So these RNAs on the inside create these guys on the outside. There are 10 types of N protein and 17 types of H protein.
What's RNA?
RNA is what marries with DNA and reproduces. So since our bodies are full of DNA, viruses want to get in there and right, they want to rape your DNA, right? Because that's what they do on a little small scale. They're raping your DNA, they're forcing their way in, and then they're reproducing. All right. So since we have 10 types of N proteins, right? And this is how they determine what virus they're looking at. So this is what you're hearing. H1N1. That means you have a H1 protein and an N1 protein on the outer coating of the virus. All right? So that means you have a total of 170 possible virus or flu influenza bodies. Okay? That's very important that you understand that these are only bodies, because and this is what kind of blew my mind. If I come down with H1N1, he comes down with H1N1. We go to the doctor, they look at our, they get a little sample under the microscope and they look in there. Most times we have completely different strains of the flu. This is how these are able to be weaponized, because all they're telling you is what is on the outer coating, okay? And all these guys do is the H proteins. All right, we gotta get rid of this. Actually, we can get over here then. We can get rid of this, right? Keep a little bit up for reference. All right, say that's your cell. Outside your cell, you have like these little stringy little hairs. And then you got your DNA on the inside. This is called sialic acid. And what these H proteins do is grab a hold of these hairs, these little, that's the best way to describe them. These little hairs that are on the outer cell membrane, and kind of just like, it's like the Tarzan thing, they just kind of swing the virus into play. Once the virus is up on the wall, then of course it wants to get those RNAs on the inside. Now, the N proteins don't come into play until after the RNA has already infiltrated deep inside and is reproduced. The N proteins, that's why I drew them as little razor blades, they cut the way out. They cut the way out of the cell so that so the new babies can now get out of there, right? And go find more cells to replicate and keep the process going. So that's how you can remember those. Those are little razor blades. So you might want to have this. This is important because this is where all the inflammation, the mucus comes from, because everything inside the cell that's supposed to be in the cell is spilling out, and on top of being reproductive, RNA serves as a program. Fire away.
So that they cut themselves out of the cell.
Right, because they're actually in the cell, and as a part of your immune system, good question, as a part of your immune system, you have a plan B. These hairs will actually hold on to the new guys that are coming out until your lymphatic system can get rid of them. So they have to cut themselves free.
So they're cutting themselves not only from inside, but from the outside. With
Right,
little hairs.
outside going in, inside coming out.
So are they coming in the same way with their razor blades?
Absolutely.
They're coming, the little babies have razor blades on.
No, the mom does.
Right, but she's releasing the babies.
Right,
So now
she
how-
cuts her way in,
Right,
and then the babies go in there, they live, you know, they incubate,
right.
and once they reach fruition, they cut their way out.
They cut their way out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, mom is still hooked up. Like this is now a factory. Mom is going to keep, or dad, or dad is going to keep impregnating this one cell, and this cell is just going to keep turning out more babies.
Okay, but now how did they get in it first? Through the nose and the mouth? How did they come in anyway?
Into the body?
Yeah.
Through the nose and the mouth.
And then they cut their way in then when they got in?
Once they went through the nose and the mouth, they go down to the lung, because the lung is a very key area in your body where all the blood has to pass through. So all they got to do is set up shop in the lung, and all the blood is going to cycle through the lung. As your blood goes through your circulatory system, it comes up through the bottom ventricle on the right side, and through the top ventricle on the left side, it goes in the lung so it can be oxidized, right? Get some new oxygen. Then it comes out the top ventricle and goes out the bottom into the body. The only difference between like arteries and veins is arteries are full of blue blood, which is blood that is deoxygenated. Veins are fresh blood that's got oxygen. So these guys want to set up shop right there in the lung where all the blood, they don't have to look for anything. All the blood's gonna come to them. All right. Yeah. So we got that.
So
Fire away.
pretty much you're saying, as far as people being concerned with touching doorknobs or handles of any sort, your real concern is the airborne pathogen.
Right.
Exactly.
That's like the red herring. You touching doorknobs. Like, I mean, doorknobs are full of bacteria, so we kind of might sometimes get bacteria and viruses confused. But bacteria and viruses are different. In fact, if a bacteria was literally this size, a virus would probably be like this size. So they're different. And bacteria hangs around on stuff like that. With viruses, it's just airborne. You know, it ain't in water. Like you can't. The viruses is. You got to worry about. It's not like you got to worry about yourself as opposed to the virus, because the virus is gonna happen. It's there. As soon as you know, it's this virus all throughout this room right now. We're trading them. Every time we breathe in, we breathe in some in. Every time we breathe out, we breathe in some out. We sharing them. We sharing them. Yeah. So we're a lot more intimate than you think. Right?
Right about it.
Yeah. So you know, I'm one of those weirdos on the train and the bus. You know, I got my scarf. I see somebody going crazy. I cover up my nose, mouth. I don't care how you feel about it. And get up and maybe if I get a chance to go to the next car. Hey, you need to get you some herbs. That's a private situation right there you have. You need time and space. I don't want to crowd your space.
What about hand sanitizer?
Hand sanitizer is cool. But then, you know, again, we breathing it in, the viruses, so that the hand sanitizer is not going to really,
Still there?
it's not going to really.
Don't you think that since they have made the central systems in the subways and buses and all, they block in and cause you to get other people's illnesses because you can't open the window to give them fresh air?
Absolutely, but I mean, yeah, but to a greater or lesser extent, the cities are that way now, because the trees are gone, right? And like if you stand up on Broad a little bit, you know, you go up maybe 10, 15 blocks up on Broad, You look, because broad, you can look straight down to the clock. It's like got a little brownish hue. You know, it's got like a greenish. You can see the quality of the air is not necessarily what it should be. You know, I still love Philly. I still ain't got nothing on Jersey yet. Because Jersey, you can smell Jersey like 20, 30 miles out. You know, so y'all not nowhere near that bad, but you can see it. You know, so that's why I said it's not necessarily. I don't want to like I don't want us to get like, because there's like white folks and Chinese folks in New York. I don't know about down here, but they're walking around with the mask on, like like they living in what's that movie, Contagious or what? Like they, so they you know they're on overkill. They're on overkill. I don't want us to go on overkill, but the key is to ramp up the body's natural immune system so you don't have to worry about that. Because the whole thing is we would have never got to this point. We wouldn't be here now if these little nasty bugs was that big of a deal. But we're devolving right now. Our immune systems are devolving. Our health is devolving. So things that we may have surpassed hundreds of years ago with our health is now coming back to haunt us because we are moving backwards. Okay? This food thing, you know, food is an invention. Food's an invention. Baby doesn't come out of a mother like, oh, it's macaroni and cheese. You know, your body doesn't want that. Your body's craving nutrients in the form of minerals, vitamins, fatty acids, amino acids. So your body doesn't crave a specific thing, you know, outside of that paradigm. Anything like that is for your tongue, and even your tongue has long since been perverted, because your tongue technically was to tell you if something was poisonous or healthy, if it was safe or not. Our tongue now is out of control. It tells you if it tastes good. You know? So you put a little ketchup on there, right? Anything is good almost. You know, and I'm big on hot sauce. You throw some hot sauce and some ketchup, we're in business. It could be any kind of dead animal you eat. Emphasis on dead animal, right? Because that was never a part of our culture, but it is now. You know, so we got to look at the origin of that. What's going on with these dead animals, and why is it that we live in a society where everything is about putting dead animals in the body? Because even the medications, and we'll get to that in a minute, the flu vaccine, right, is made from dead animals, fungus. I think the one that they're using now that everybody's running the Rite Aid to get is from the kidneys of dogs. Right? So, go ahead.
What's that?
Vaccine? The flu vaccine they give them folks. Yeah. It's either from the kidneys of dogs or from like the stool of worms.
So you said they're weaponizing flu.
Mm-hmm.
Are they putting the flu viruses in the animals, or the animals just
Well, no.
have them?
Well, that's why I hope y'all wrote them down. That's why it's good, because if you look at that list of animals that you wrote down, right, you'll see one common theme with them, and that is they're all domesticated. Mm-hmm. So it's the animals that live in close proximity.
I'm surprised cows not
with
on the
humans.
list.
Cows will be on the list, but cows are gone. The stuff coming out of cows is much worse than flu. But yeah, the stuff coming out of cows now is crazy. But what happens, how they weaponize it, is because, all right, well let's all right, go ahead.
I don't want to get off the subject.
Go ahead. No, off the subject is fine.
But maybe because I have a germophobia about me, I don't want somebody doodle on my hands. So I'm going to use something to clean my. Everybody's not clean. So I know we're talking about virus. I'll let you go with that.
Right. No, that's
people need to know they still got to clean their hands before you
bacteria.
eat.
Right. Oh yeah.
And you walking on put your hands on the the rail and the.
Oh no. We live in listen. Our culture is we live in a complete culture of death. The culture's death.
Okay.
Think about the picture we've been sold. Look around. All right, everybody's adult. Think about the picture we've been sold about sex. Right? What is good sex? What's the image of good sex, right? I'm passionate, I love you, look good, I look good, you look good. We get in the house. Well, no, first we don't get in the house. Right? So I'm getting ahead of myself. We go out, right? We go to the club. Or maybe we don't go to the club. But sometimes it's the club, right?
Sometimes straight to the house. I'm sorry.
Get down to business, right? OGs, right? But sometimes it's an intimate dinner, right? Right? Sometimes it's an intimate dinner. Or maybe not so intimate, right? We just grab some takeout, right? But so we get something to eat, or we go somewhere, public. We go somewhere in public, and we already discussed how filthy public is, right? We're exposed to everything, right? But the scene is, once we get back to the house, maybe we had a few drinks, maybe we didn't, but it's go time, right? So from the door, we just getting busy. Boom. Taking off yours, it goes down. Right? Foreplay, foreplay, I want foreplay. Right? Fair exchange ain't never been robbery. Right? So I'm willing to give in order to receive, right? So, when do we clean off?
Right.
When do we clean off? Never. We're going right from the club, boom, boom, it's already hot because it's crowded, right? And what's the club? What are the conditions for fungus, mold, and bacteria to grow?
Dark, moist.
That's right. So we're in the club, the perfect place, right?
Perfect place.
What's the number one thing that bacteria, yeast, and fungus like? Alcohol.
Oh, wow.
That would kill him. Ooh.
Alcohol. No, they exude it like sweat.
Yeah.
They need that because most of them are what's called hydrophobic, which means they can't live in water. Right? So they use alcohol to dry up all the water in any area of the body that they want to make their home. So you got to start to look at them like little people, then it makes more sense, right?
And this is fungus, right?
You got a husband or a wife, and y'all looking to settle down and raise a family, right? Y'all looking at nice neighborhoods. Y'all go check out a neighborhood. Y'all go to the neighborhood, oh wow, this is nice. We can settle in here, have children, and raise a family. So that's where the immune system is. Your immune system determines how nice that neighborhood is going to be to these guys. And if it's just okay, the alcohol will dry up the area, darken the area, because what happens in the body is your body always washes your organs. When you get dehydrated though, your body has to use whatever fluid is available, the closest fluid that's available to water, to start to clean these organs, which is
Alcohol.
Spit.
no.
Saliva.
Blood.
Oh, yeah.
The closest fluid in your body to water is blood. Blood is about 90–95% water. This is where plaque builds up on the organs. If your body doesn't have water to do it, it starts to use blood. Blood will have a leftover residue. As that residue cakes up, you got plaque. So now we're getting dark, alcohol drying stuff up. It's perfect, right? So we're in the club. Let's get back on track. We're in the club where it's nice and dark, it's hot, it's sweaty. We drinking, right? Don't matter what we drinking. Wine, Merlot, Minister Mike, Don't judge me. I might have a Merlot. Okay? So what's happening now? Now the mood is right, but the mood's not only right for me, it's also right for those little guys that's creeping and crawling on inside you. Right? And where they gonna be at? Because you ain't been out all night, all day without going to bathroom. Now we're making sure we're exposed, right? And we got backwards practices because again, the culture is deaf. Maybe 8 or 9 years ago, it was a guy who was I believe he was a Muslim. And he got arrested because he was in the bathroom by himself and he had the right practices. And I'm telling you what the right practices. He was trying to wash his, he used the bathroom, he was trying to wash his, So, but that's what we should be doing. Because most of us, we go in the bath, men, I know what y'all do. I know what men are trained to do. We go to the bathroom and we just open up, grab our stuff, put it away, then we wash our hands and we go.
Women do that too.
Okay, but that's the problem
That's
because
not the problem. I
because
see
look,
coming in.
all the germs, the bacteria, and the viruses you got to worry about is not in here. That's clean. That's probably the cleanest place on your body. Because guess what? You took a shower, I hope, right? And we put on clean underwears, I hope, right? So we showered, we put on clean underwears. In this weather, we done turned around and put on thermals on top of that. Women got stockings, right?
Long John.
Long john, right. Then we got our pants, or our skirt, so we got about 4 or 5 layers, clean layers of clothing on top of clean skin. So nothing's getting through there. It's all right here. So we open up and we rub all those viruses and bacteria all over everything. Then we don't even clean it. We pull that up and seal that in. We seal that in. So now all those little guys are where? A nice. And now look, what's the thing they've been pushing for? I'm coming right to you. The thing they've been pushing the past 2 years now is that adults should be using baby wipes. Yeah, if you really want to get it clean, you got to use the baby wipes. So now we're adding moisture to the dark environment that we just sealed up all the bacteria and the germs in. So now it's moist and it's dark, and we put all those germs in there and we did what? Closed them in so they can incubate. Now, we're getting ready to go home and we're getting ready to eat them. I'm getting ready to go right in. She look good. I don't know, it's going down. Hey, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? I'm shot out. What you want me to do? So, she going in, I'm going in, right? We done ate, you know, buffet style. All the bacteria, the virus, and the germs. Now wait, here go the fly part now. Because now, I'm going to put on protection. After I've ate all the germs, I done already swallowed them. Then, we probably done kissed in between, just to make sure that if I got any variety of germs that she doesn't have, and she just got any variety that I don't have, we make sure we even it up. Come on, let me share them Jones. Let me do some of them Jones. Right? So now we're making sure we're thoroughly coated on the inside and the outside with germs. And then we put on protection so that we're safe. Right? So the whole culture is backwards. You know, it's designed for these guys. You know, it's not designed for our life. It's designed for the life of these germs and these parasites. So I'm gonna go to you, sis, and then I know you had your hand up too.
Like say 20 years ago, so I think I didn't see it as much as I do now, but women going barefoot and the toilet paper is on the floor. Literally, it's unbelievable. You know, I have to make sure if I'm going someplace, I always take napkins everywhere I go. The toilet paper is on the floor, laying there. So now you don't know if the one that's on the roller, if that had been laying on the floor earlier, and they pick it up and put it in the. But I was reading a while ago that the new cancers now are esophageal and oral due to new sexual practices. You know,
New sexual
not
practices.
So, but you know.
No. The new sexual practices is with the prophylactic. So they got like the dam, which is like a very expensive way of men buying saran wrap. Okay, because you can get a whole long roll of saran wrap for like $3. You get the damn little piece like this for like $5. It's flavored too. So what flavor? What does flavor mean? What does flavor mean? We gotta start to see it. I call it Enqi vision. This is how I look at things. Because I look at things different. You know, like get and tell that little, just tell that little piece, just real quick, that little story with the grapefruit and the medication.
I was listening to a radio station.
Yeah, wait. He called me up. How many months ago was that with this?
Like
2 months ago. This was hilarious for me.
I was listening to the radio station and guys were saying how dangerous grapefruit was and how it could kill you. And they were saying that if you mix it with certain medications, it can have an allergic reaction and kill a person. That I was talking to Enqi about it.
Wait, but no, add on the second part.
Which part?
The part where they were saying, like, if you mix the grapefruit with the medication, it's been killing people,
yeah, the grapefruit
but
kill you.
you gotta stay away from grapefruit, was their conclusion.
Not the medicine.
So, right. So, immediately, individuals like, what? So they said, stay away from the grapefruit, not the medication?
Wow.
So instantly, when you see flavor on something, what does that mean?
Artificial.
Boom. Boom. That's what that means. So just translate that in your mind instantly. Just learn a new language. Okay? Instantly see assorted chemicals. Assorted chemicals. Anytime you see flavor, assorted chemicals. Right? Because I don't need to be told that a grape is going to taste like
A grape.
Only time I need to be told there's flavor is when there's something that's added. And you can't add a flavor. Just for everybody to know that officially forever. Right? You cannot add a flavor. The flavor is like the spirit of a thing. It's like the spirit of a thing. It's not located anywhere in the thing. The flavor of an apple is not located in the skin. It's not located in the flesh. It's not located. It's all of the things that make the apple amalgamated into one. Right? So the end result is different than all the pieces combined. Okay? So it's like the spirit, you can't fake that. Okay? Even though some stores now are going crazy with the GMO stuff. Right? Have y'all seen grapples yet?
What? No.
Grapples.
You making that up?
I swear I'm not. Actually, I thought my daughters made it up. Because they're in the house, you know, we do the grape juice like religiously and apple juice also. So they doing grapple. You know, grape juice mixed with apple juice. We go into the supermarket, it's like, Daddy. They have grapple like for real. And they're big grape flavored apples.
What?
Grape flavored
Oh
apples.
my God.
Serious?
What do they look like?
They look just like apples. You can't notice the difference.
And they call them grapples.
Grapples, that's on the package. Grapple.
They got cotton candy grapes.
That's serious?
My question is,
Oh, hold on, 1 second. 1 second. Did I answer it too?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
is that called gene splicing that you're talking about?
Absolutely. That's how they that's how they modify the GMO. That's how they do that. And what they do to at the process still brings us back to. So see, we're gonna get a good idea of who these Europeans are. We keep noticing that there's this common running theme because the way that they genetically modify food is they take. Oh, I took the picture. They take RNA, right? The new RNA that they want to insert into the plant, right? The same thing viruses do. They go into your body and rape your DNA and reproduce. Is the same thing they're doing with the plants. So they insert the new RNA that they want, the new gene traits that they want to be inserted in the plant into a yeast, a fungus, a bacteria, or virus, and give the virus to the plants. That will now proliferate the new genes in the plant. Voila, we have a whole new plant.
And that means that those of us that like do the right thing and like feed these bodies plant-based foods, even the plant-based foods, like it's like.
Well, the genetically modified plant-based foods. So there's a big war going on right now, and sometimes we give white folks a hard time. I try to give them a hard time as much as possible. But we also have to, if we're going to do that, give them credit where credit is due. A lot of the good food that's around is due to white folks, because they raise hell. We come together in circles like this and talk about it with each other. You mess with some white folks, like they all down here, 200-300 people surrounding the building. Down with the Monsanto! Get rid of mine! They got the sign. Get rid of Monsanto! Then if somebody come outside, they hitting them with bottles in the head. Like, white folks goes crazy. So, you know, they kind of keep the balance. You know, we were talking about that today. Because we went and got some excellent vegan sandwiches today. And completely white restaurant. You know? What we got is what?
Depends on where though.
We got churches, right? We got, we have to, I was gonna say Chinese food, but I don't wanna say Chinese food anymore. Because it's not Chinese food. We gotta get that. But Chinese people don't eat that. So it's not Chinese food. It's really like, can't even say nigger food, because we was already killing ourselves very good at a nice fast rate with the macaroni and potato salad. That right now is just like madness. You know, MSG through the roof. You know, if you watch, see out here they done got crafty. In New York, they still have the clear windows where you can watch them. They put the brown powder, and they put like 2-3 scoops of the white powder, which we know is sugar. Heroin. Wait, it might as well be heroin because the same machines that process heroin are the same ones that process sugar. You know, and sugar originally started out being made with you, just so you have that little piece of info.
Slave bones.
That's right, slave bones. Okay. Yeah, they used, when they put the black folks out into the swamp, the marsh, right, wading in the water, right? We might have heard that before. That's where they was at. They was in the sugarcane fields. So, like, all right, human nature. If we have to admit something, we admit the least negative thing possible. So they tell us we was in the cotton fields. The cotton fields wasn't that bad. The swamps, that's where it was going down at. And so they learned how to be efficient and recycle niggas. Right? So we get you out there, get them sugar canes, and if you drop dead out there, we had the other niggas trained to get you out of the water as fast as possible so we could use your bones to refine.
Wow.
You know, and we probably use the meat, the flesh, to feed the animals. You know, if you was clean, we'd probably knock out a little piece ourselves. Wow. Right now. Yeah. Remember, you've been told. So, the guy who actually came up with using animal bones, he got a Nobel Prize for having a less barbaric way of refining sugar. All right. Wow.
Grind the bone up in the sugar.
Yeah, they use the bone. We live in a cannibal society. I mean, it just is what it is.
But I mean,
it's easier for you to find dead meat than vegetables. So the refining process is yes.
So
it is a part of the sugar that we're eating. So you're eating the white sugar, you're eating meat. Okay, now they're using the animal bones as opposed to when they initially started, they were recycling folks. Right? But it's a common thing though. They like to find ways to feed niggas. Right?
There you go.
I forgot what if anybody see my YouTubes, I got a couple of YouTubes up. Coca-Cola, was it Pepsi or Coca-Cola? One of those companies, Pepsi or Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola, Nestle, right? They all got caught. And again, our good old white folks raising hell because they were using kidney cells from aborted baby fetuses as flavoring. As flavoring.
Doritos too.
Doritos. There's a bunch of stuff. It was even in Gertler products, baby food.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is public info. You can go online, look it up. It's
Yeah, the red hot chili Cheetos.
intermittently, I'll just keep pressing the buttons and I'll get it to pull up right here. So I did do the name of the company. So it's a running thing. They do that. You know what I mean? So we can't worry about that. It's going down. If you're eating the things you're supposed to be eating, you'll be all right. Your question, sis.
Oh, that's okay.
Fire away, go ahead.
I don't remember what it was.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting.
What exactly is the process with the bones? Like, what do they do? Like, is the bone being broke up and put in the sugar? And so would that like help cleanse it or something? Like,
Well, the
I'm concerned, it's nothing that it can help with. Like I'm not even that deep. I just need to know what's in. I'm great.
I think the bones
I'm straight.
the charcoal and it becomes super absorbent, so then they retract the I guess the mineral in the actual raw sugar cane, where they usually later make I guess vitamins and so forth.
Yeah, that's deep too. It's all about recycling, right? Because they pluck the natural plant that has the vitamins and minerals intact, pull all that out, put it on the shelf in GNC vitamin shop, right? Sell you that separately, and then also sell you the. It's all about not wasting anything. Right, so let's dig in a little deeper. Let's dig in a little bit deeper. All right. So just for example, all right, a lot of us, we don't take the time when we get something, a prescription, we don't look up the name of the prescription and see what's in it, how it was made, you know? We see the white jacket told us to do something, and we follow, okay? So we train to follow the white jacket.
I just got here, but I just wanted to qualify what you said about that.
Yeah.
Well, you know how they say you got to do stuff you want to do that you don't want to do, so you can do what you want to do.
Do what you got to do what you want to do.
Exactly. Well, I'm in the military and I hate it, but I'm in there because people like us that's in this room, if they ever declare martial law, I'm one of them guys that's not brainwashed to stop us from killing each other. So that's one of my primary reasons for being in there. But what I wanted to say about what you're saying is they try to force you to take a flu shot. And if you don't take the flu shot, you're going to get written up like Article 15 or something, and it's going to be a problem for you. So I told them that I'm allergic to eggs because they put eggs in flu shot. I can't say I'm allergic to urine. They put that in flu. You know, they put all kind of stuff in the flu shot, like it's bad. And I said I'm allergic to eggs, and they try to tell me that I can't get reclassified in another job because I don't have proof from the doctor saying that I'm allergic to eggs, and they don't want to push my career forward. It's crazy. But I just want to say, like, you need to look, what, like you said, what's in certain things. It's crazy how they put stuff in certain things, and, you know, for what? You know, there's no reason for all that. But for them it is, you know, it's crazy. But I'm still fighting like I'm not taking a flu shot. Kick me out, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. That's deep.
13 years.
That's deep.
And you know, you gonna kick me out now?
And I had a friend.
And I got, real quick, I got a felony. I can't carry on the street, but I get paid to kill people.
Wow. Right. So you can't shoot who you want to shoot. But you can shoot who I tell you to shoot.
Exactly. But I keep that low too. I'm not killing my brothers. You know?
No doubt.
I don't have no problem with it, but not my brothers. Yeah, not at all.
It's beautiful.
So culture instead of.
All right. So these are the guys I was talking about. And of course, there's plenty of other vaccines floating around, but you know, just if you want to do your due diligence, see if Minister Enqi is. Right. So with this one, this was like a big innovation for them because normally they'll take it from like they'll take the egg. I mean, they'll take the fungus or the virus or the bacteria, and they'll put it into like they take whatever virus reproduces really fast, because that's how they grow vaccine. They grow it. It's not made in a lab necessarily the way we think. We think laboratory. We think chemicals. You know, that's one of the big fallacies that's floating around in conspiracy theory land, right? That you got the microchips under your skin. That's how they're gonna get you. They're gonna put the microchips under your skin. That's baloney.
Really?
The microchips are organic now. That's what the microchips are. These guys.
Wait a minute.
So they always keep us looking this way while they're moving over there.
So when you said the microchips are organic, they'll still function like a microchip, but they'll.
Of course, these things work on remote. Go ahead, bro.
Just to qualify what he's saying again,
Cause he in the military, so he's exposed to the information first line.
I work for a moving company, so we do commercial moves, no household moves. One of the main companies we work for is University of Penn. One of the best that ever did it. They actually wrote the health plan for the whole United States in Philly. And they work. What he's saying, what they do is they work on the mice. They get all the mice. They acquire all the mice. And they actually test the mice first with all this that they do, even with regrowing your fingers and regrowing your legs back. They actually, they actually inject the actual cell right on. If your finger broke, they inject the cells right in the finger and watch it grow back. They can do that now. Yeah, so everything you're saying is true. And I see it for myself. Like they actually dissect the mice right in the middle. They put a needle in them and it looked like they squirt water right into his heart. All the blood disappear out his butt, like all the blood. Now it's clear, and they start taking out the spleen, the liver, the cells, the lungs, and all that. And then they do what they're gonna do.
And just for family at home curious, lemons, pineapples, okay? I got this from an anonymous brother who wishes not to be named.
Where's ours at?
I don't know where it came from. Brother I trust said, "Are you thirsty, minister?" I said, "Not right now, but I'm gonna have that on deck." Because I will be.
Actually, I had the same idea when they gave me samples.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a good question, like just before I popped the top. Because then y'all could have shared that one.
Okay, so could you read what you got there? Because I can't
All right.
see it.
Flu cell vax, that's one of the types of vaccines floating around, and flu block. Flu cell vax, instead of breeding it in the eggs of other yeast and fungus, they're doing it right in the cell cultures, which is basically petri dishes.
Right.
All right. And where the original strain of the flu that they're reproducing, matter of fact, let me give you this first. So we can, because this might help make sense out of this whole, how their philosophy works. We live in a cannibal society, right? What do cannibals do? What is a cannibal?
Eats its own kind.
Eats its own kind. That's the whole philosophy behind most of this medicine. It's not to necessarily get rid of the bug. It's to create a bigger bug
To eat the bug.
to go get the other bug. Then they'll figure this out later. Well, if this guy's still floating around, because that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like if you have guys selling drugs in your neighborhood, you get some bigger guys, nasty guys, to kill those guys and take over the neighborhood. You kind of still got those guys floating around the neighborhood. So that's the philosophy. Every time the bugs get nasty, they just come in with a new, bigger bug. Okay, that's all they do.
A new strand.
A new strand. That's right.
But what's a dull kidney up there? Is that
That's where they got that strain of flu from. Yeah. And this one comes from the ovaries of what's called fall armyworms. Okay, they're worms. They take it from the ovaries of the worms, and that's where they get this guy. So before we get into, because a lot of times we get lost in all of the heavy chemicals that's in the vaccine, which does cause problems in the body. But just if we knew just this part, it's so like grotesque that we'd be turned off already. You know, I had a big argument. I'm embarrassed to do it on 125th Street. I was in the Rite Aid over there, and I was looking for, I forgot what I was looking for, something regular. Like I had needed a memory card or something like that. And I'm asking the guy about that, and he trying to be all extra smart, you know, because if y'all see me during the middle of the week, I got my little sweats, my hoodie, you know. Hey, sir, did you get the flu shot? Did you get the flu shot? Dude, I just no, but did you get the flu shot? You see, then he started going into the uneducated blacks. You know, the young, they don't know nothing, you know. Now with my little brother, you know what I mean? And he like, yo, chill, come on, we got stuff to do, don't go in. I'm like, all right, look, listen, I just need a memory card. So now, he making it an issue. So I'm like, well, let me ask you the first question, bro. You know, because these people, foreigners, when they come into the community and they want to sell you something, they always your brother. Arabs is your brother. These Indian dudes, they dark skinned like you, so now they're your brother. Straight hair, funny looking noses, but they're your brother though. So first things first, why don't you share with us all what's in that? that you're offering me? Well, it's a various ingredient. Stop. Is there fluid in that needle or not? Well, you got to understand. Actually, yes or no question. Is there fluid in that needle or not? Well, see, you don't understand, and it's a lack of education. Lack of education. All right. We'll move past that. You don't have to answer that question. Have you taken the vaccine? Well, whether I've taken the vaccine to protect myself is irrelevant as it comes to what you need to do, because I'm trying to help. Needless to say, like 8 or 9 people that was waiting online just walked off the line and started mumbling. All he had to do was show me with a memory card. But most of them don't take it. In fact, I got video of, and this is a problem for the black community because this guy does not speak for you or to you, but a lot of people, they Dr. Oz'd out. But I got video of Dr. Oz. They asked him, and you know, sometimes when the, you know, because I speak in front of people, so I know when the vibe is good, the mood is, you know, you're flowing, you get caught with your pants down. Sometimes you just let something out you wasn't supposed to let out. And then these guys are very nasty with that. Video, camera, it's getting everything. Everything.
No prejudice.
So yeah, no prejudice. It's Mother Nature like it. So he said, just real quick. Well, you know, I'm gonna take it, but you know, my wife and children aren't gonna take it because when I'm at home, I'm not Dr. Oz, I'm Mr. Oz. It's like, download. Download. Stuff like that has a way of disappearing off YouTube after a while. You gotta grab them jumps. Whoa, I'm gonna keep you. So I'm sure after Dr. Oz sees that, he'd make a phone call to, you know, his buddies, and then before you know it, the Google boys will wipe that joint off there. That video is no longer available. You'll click it, and it say, this video has been removed by a user. It's gone. So Dr. Oz,
You got the money?
that's offering everyone the flu shot, telling everyone to go get the flu shot.
Family ain't taking it.
Not my kids.
He hasn't taken it either. He was going to take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get around to it. But not my wife and kids. So when I get home, I'm Mr. Oz. So now let's put that in Enqi vision. I love those people in my house. I love them. I'm not gonna give them that shit. That's for you guys. You don't know, you're gonna get paid to stand up here and say this. So for you guys, that's it. So this is what we're dealing with now. Let's talk about how they beef up vaccines as time changes and they come out with new ones, right? What they do is, and it's good to just get the words, because as you start to get the terminology, it makes it much easier to understand what I call SJ. And SJ kills us. It's a language. We have to learn SJ. Just like Spanish, Russian, Hebrew, it's scientific jargon. Okay? So as they, to beef up these things, all they do is simply go ahead and combine strains. Right? They combine strains of flu to make bigger, stronger, meaner vaccines that can kill the flu floating around.
So when they combine these strains, is that where the super flu comes from?
Absolutely. But we're going to get into genetic shift and genetic drift so we understand how those come about exactly. But, so we're going to get deeper into that. That's a very good question. But I just want you to get this so you can get this. You get this, then you get this. Recombinant viruses, right? Because we hear that when you talk about big nasties like Ebola, AIDS, HIV, right? Recombinant. Okay? You hear that, you got to know that either through some sort of natural process, or in the laboratory, they have mixed up something and served you a nice drink. So you got a Long Island iced tea in the germ, right? But you need to get this. This is important. This plays a key role in your understanding of viruses and things like that. And this actually makes the flu special, because this is a category of a lot of viruses, and the flu happens to not only fit into that category, but it also fits into this category. Right? We might have also heard that on the news or watching Doctors or any of those shows, right? And so this is any virus as a result of the combination of multiviruses, right? This guy right here is basically just a virus, right? RNA that invades a host, basically rapes the host, and reproduces in the host. That's it. Stuff is easy. We just got to get the SJ so we know it. So I just want to give it to you. Write it down. Boom. You got it. Rapes your DNA and reproduces. All right. Just a note, okay, to whoever's in my pocket calling me. You should have been here. It won't get me here. Here. What are you doing? And there are a couple other categories, but this is the two that are relevant most. All right, flu fits into both of these. All right, and what you were talking about earlier is actually called this. Just since you brought it up, the new cancers, mouth and the lung and all that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got recombinant viruses, and then what she was talking about earlier would fit into this category. Adeno viruses. All right? And these are basically similar retroviruses, only remember that picture we drew of the virus? It doesn't have that envelope. So these are non-envelope. They kind of just, they go a lot faster and quicker. They get a little bit nasty because they're already, as soon as they get in the body, they just.
Let me ask you about herpes. I was reading where
Herpes is awesome.
I know. You can have, oral sex, you have herpes on your mouth. That usually is what they say causes herpes in your genitals, because it moves down the spinal column and goes into the, what do you call that? Coming from the brain.
That's kind of true, but it's not exactly true. But it is true. It's weird when you get into virus land. And since we get so much bits and pieces of information and misinformation, it just gets a little weird. That's the best way I can say it.
Well, it makes sense to me because of syphilis.
No, it's true.
It's how syphilis comes
It's
and
true.
attacks the gonads, but yet it can end up in your brain.
Right, but
Same tissue.
it's true. But they have a way of brainwashing us not with lies, but with context. So when they say that, right, I get the context that, like, herpes is a lot rarer than it really is. Right? Who's had herpes before in this room?
Everybody.
Cold sore, right? Everybody seems like a cold sore.
Fever, blister, cold sores, all the same
Yeah,
thing.
chickenpox, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing, same exact
That's
thing.
right.
Cold sores, yeah.
Anybody who has ever had a cold sore or chicken pox. So, when you're at home, your baby got chicken pox, right? Because technically, from the American Medical Association, everybody gets chicken pox at least one time, right? So that means we all had herpes. So when your baby gets chicken pox, say, okay, baby, don't worry. I know you was having unprotected sex. I know. We're going to take care of that herpes. Some calamine lotion.
Why does later on in life it turns into shingles then? Isn't it shingles as well for like when
Absolutely.
you get older? Why does it turn into shingles then?
Recombinant.
So it's
as these things mutate. See, this is where the dangers come in with the vaccines.
Right.
Because like I said, the symptoms may go away with a quote-unquote cure, but you still have all those genes floating through your body. And this is why they like to take out all of the organs in your body that interferes with fungus proliferation, white blood cell proliferation, which is also fungus, but we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that another time. That's like a whole big deal. You're like, hold on, white blood cells. We got to have white blood cells, part of our immune system. Why aren't they fighting off disease? Where are they at? Flu virus pops in, cytokines is on deck. They fighting. Lymphatic system's on deck. They fighting. The mucous membrane, secreting mucus, trying to get some sodium bicarbonate to get the acidity lower. No white blood cells on deck. Where they at? They down with.
They ain't right.
All right.
They ain't
All
right.
So,
Oh, what? Yeah, we need to hear a little bit more about this.
it's all in the quantum mind state. It's a big book about physics and blood. Because, and I'm coming right to you, bro. The newest thing is quantum spin liquid. And the scientists are in an uproar, they're deep, like, wow, this we can't believe this, that there's superconduction in liquids and they have magnetic fields, and how do these liquids have magnetic fields all of their own? And then they're looking deeper into it and like, wow, the electrons have lined up with the crystal lattice structure, and boom, 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 and it's the tetrahedron, and you know, it looks just like the pyramid, but it's not has anything to do with black folks. But I already had the cellular water book, 400 pages, and in that book, 400 pages, I'm describing quantum spin liquid. Never used the words quantum spin liquid, but I'm talking about structured water and structured water's effect on the body. And then, shameless plug, how this guy can do that for you. Structures the water. So you have an instant boost in electricity, magnetic field, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but since we're talking about magnetic fields, let me go to your statement, with your question, when you asked me earlier about can the bacteria, the fungus, and these guys work like microchips? Absolutely. A mind, right? Your mind, everyone's mind, is an amalgamation of all of the magnetic fields of your body put together, right? So what happens when we have a bunch of yeast and fungus in the body? They also have magnetic fields. So that's where you get the craving for dead animals. You get the craving for sugar, right? And they tap into that, like I just told you about the Pepsi, the Nestle, how they were using the cells of the dead baby, aborted fetus kidneys. What part of my body are they appealing to with dead babies' cells, other than some sort of cannibal, savage part that would like that? Right? This is a company, they have money for business, profit. So obviously it's working, or they wouldn't put it in. So this is the part it's appealing to them.
So all them articles about the microchips having your bank information, your health information on it.
Well, that's cool as far as somebody stealing your money. But the rest of the stuff, like a lot of the stuff, I love it, I learn it, you know, I get deep. But if a lot of the stuff that's floating around was threatening, they would shut it down. Right. We're not in private, we're not in... Right now, we're broadcasting on live. Anybody on earth can just type in BlackandNobel, here we talking about. Right. It's not secret. So a lot of the information floating around, you know, Jordan Max, it's not threatening. Right. In fact, it helps keep you asleep. So you looking over here, you looking for a doctor to put like a metal microchip under you, and that's gone. The weapon of mass destruction is right here, your nose. One sneeze, and that virus can go all the way around the world, infect every country, all over everywhere, and be back in your apartment in 7 days. in 7 days. Mutated and stronger than ever.
They show that in so many movies.
It shows you. And we still sleep. We still sleep. But since blood, right? That's where the life force is at. Right? That's where the life force is at. So that's where all these guys target. So let's deal with the blood. Just real quick. What is the popular myth, emphasis on myth, about where your blood comes from? Bones. Bones.
Yeah. Right.
So let's deal with the bone marrow real quick. All right? Bone marrow. Let's get the bone marrow real quick. All right? And we're going to notice a running theme here. Bone marrow comes in 2 types. So you have red to brown. And then you have white to beige. White to beige. This is composed of see this? As usual. This is a classic example of SJ. Scientific jargon. Right? They could easily just say stem cells.
Oh, wow.
They could easily say stem cells. But then we kind of understand that, so it doesn't work. So they have to do that. Hematopoietic. You know, it gets a little crazy. This guy comes from See, I could have just came up here at the beginning of the class because y'all already sharp. Most of y'all vegan, right? Princeton already got to y'all before I did, right? Right? You deal with Prince, you get everything vegan. Vegan Pepsi, vegan 40 ounce, like. If it's vegan on Earth, or if it's out there, you know how to create the same thing, tastes exactly the same as vegan. We was at a Chinese restaurant last night. Vegan General Tso's chicken. I couldn't believe it.
That wasn't vegan now.
Hey, I'm ready to go back.
I did the same thing for lunch today, too.
And then today we had the vegan crispy chicken sandwich. I was like, Prince, boy, oh boy. So, needless to say, if you live in Philadelphia and you still eat meat, you have no excuse. No excuse. Because everything you want to eat, we can find it. It's on there. All right? But if you just look at this, everybody here is kind of sharp already. This is already telling you, something right here. Now, we also, if you don't know, you gotta get the book Black Genetics by Minister Enqi. But we know that anything in the body that's white is not right. That's right. It's dangerous. There's nothing in the body that's good. In fact, we have, when it comes to the white blood cells, we got a couple different types, right? So there's some green ones that actually are right, but they still group them under the category of white blood cells, even though they're green. Go figure. Go figure. But this is what we're looking at. So if you got this, I hope you do, because I got to take this down. How to keep this from ever happening. How to keep this from ever happening, because if you know your body's electric, you don't know your body's electric again, you need to just start getting it. Start with this one. Start with that one. Money mind state. And the quantum mind state is the part 2. Right? So, but if you don't know the body's electric. And how that is in reference to the bones, your bones are made of basically, any of the ladies that try to go get the hair formula, what they tell you is good for the hair. Horsetail, right? You ever heard that? Silica? Right. Right. Because that's silica. There's a high concentration of silica in there, in that herb. And what? No, this. But no, but silica is just a slick way of not telling you that your bones are made of quartz.
Wait a minute.
Because they're using quartz to make, you know, these guys, radio, the TV, right?
Yep.
And quartz is piezoelectric, right? Which means that anytime you apply any sort of heat or pressure to it, it produces charge, right? So, what they found out about the bones, what was that, a couple of thousands of years ago, as this starts to happen, your bones no longer produce a charge. So, African science, which became Indian science, which is best kept intact by Chinese folks, now it's Chinese science, tells you that as this starts to happen, you're dying. Wow. Once this gets too crazy, you're gone. Now how biology can back that up is your red blood cells are the most important thing in your body. Let's get that out the way, if you're confused. Your body makes them from the things that you eat, okay? If you're eating garbage, which most of us are now, it's the staple, right? Right, not in this room, because we got Prince. Boom. Get the Prince of Philly. But most of us are eating garbage from day one, so we're in a state of degeneration, period. From the time we come out, right? That's how most diseases that they say are genetic pass from one generation to the next. It's not the disease that passed, it's the habits, the diet.
Exactly.
Right. By the time you get two, whatever I'm eating, you eat.
Right.
You know, we get to the little restaurant, you throw some chicken fingers in the friends.
Is that how the like babies born with diabetes there and cancer and all that?
Absolutely. Yeah,
They
and
haven't been out here yet, and they already born with
epigenetics. Epigenetics is the way, SJ, it's more scientific jargon for just basically saying that the habits, like in the Bible they said, the sins of the father visit on the son. All right, so when did they write that? A few hundred? Oh, a few thousand? Okay. So they knew it before, but now scientific jargon tells us that in a new way, epigenetics, right? So what happens is when you're not eating good, your body uses bone marrow in the same way the earth uses rock. Okay? Well, it uses rock as a bank to store minerals. And that's what fulvic acid and humic acid does. Also, shameless plug, ingredients that are in the Mama Thomas. Just saying. Just saying. The humic acid and the fulvic acid slowly break down the rock so that the rock can then be taken up by plants and turned into ionic form minerals, which is what your body can use. And it does that in a slow process so that technically there's always fresh minerals in the water and the plants for the life forms here to go ahead and. Your body does the same thing with the bone marrow. It stores up the bone marrow. So technically as you get older, your bones should be getting more dense. You should be getting heavier and stronger. See them little old men in the cane? Give them a handshake.
Give me a handshake.
Crush your jaw. You be big and ripped. Still be like, my hand. That's because he got that old man strength, right? We heard of that. We heard of old man strength and crazy people strength, right? You got that old man strength. But that's what your body does, it stores it up. So when your body gets low, because you got to produce about 3 million, 4 million red blood cells a second in your body. A second. So it'll start producing them from the bone marrow if you're not putting anything in there good for it to produce it from that way. All right, so anytime you're producing blood from the bone marrow, you're already in trouble. All right, so Just a little background. I just wanted to add that so you have that. This is backwards. But you got to get that. That's a running thing. And this guy is a problem, which is why the fire says lose weight
Or die.
or die. Right? Ain't no way around it. The flyer somewhere close. That's awesome. You're here and you didn't see it. Love that. Word of mouth.
Is there a way to know if your body's producing it for the bone or not without actually like going to see a doctor or something?
Yeah. What you ate today?
Cereal, steak, almond milk.
Okay. Right. What type of cereal?
Raisin bran.
No comment. Goes a hand?
Yes, I got to stay around this. I got to stay in it. I got to stay with the herd. Matter of fact, in the middle of the herd, it was really me. Now, one major thing that I invested in yesterday is it's a bottle, it's the biggest size that I have bought for the first time of concentrates, because I had a mineral deficiency had me all my life according to a doctor told me a little bit more. And like I've been putting in anything with
That's awesome. That's pretty good.
Right,
It's a good product.
like maybe a couple of days.
Good. It's a good product. But again, it's not Mama Thomas. But it's good though, because that gives you a good wide spectrum of minerals. And in fact, that's a good question because it brings up something good. Let me just throw that out there so we have it. Minerals don't function good by themselves. They need a crew, a team,
Family.
a family. And you can learn all those families in the quantum mindset. That info's in there. All right? So, let's go. This is all of your stem cell tissue. It's all your stem cell tissue. So listen. Don't get distracted. The book will be there. Right?
How many you got?
Look. I got about 6, 7, 8, no, I got 5. This is the book. Alright, so I see y'all looking over there, try to find it. This is the book. I only put up like 25 or 35 videos on the book. Only. So let's get this though. This is your stem cells. So now, anytime you hear the word stem cell research, what are they researching? Red blood cells. Red blood cells, right? They're researching red blood cells. So it makes it a lot simpler. This is the scientific jargon. All right? So the name they call, there's a name for this. Again, scientific jargon. Okay, let's get rid of this. Hopefully y'all got that. Everybody taking notes. People who aren't taking notes, I know you guys have photographic memories, right? I have notes. All right. So fat.
They're waiting for the video.
Oh, waiting for video. Yeah, they are fast on the gun with the video, BlackandNobel. They call this. How do you call it? All right. Now guess what? Guess what?
What?
Told y'all it's going to be a running theme, right? So fat comes. Right? So you got blood cells. You got white blood cells, red blood cells, right? So we just dealt with the bone marrow. You got white bone marrow, red blood. All right. So now we deal with the fat tissue. We got white tissue. And we have brown tissue, okay? The white tissue has 0 purpose in the body. No, that's not true. It would be nice if that was true. I'll tell you what white fat does. White fat feeds tumors. Feeds tumors. It also sends out electrochemical signals to the lymphatic system to stop the lymphatic system from pulling them out. Because your lymphatic system always looks for damaged cells. This is how tumors get started. You have a damaged cell, and the damaged cell replicates in a damaged way, which produces other damaged cells. You get a whole bunch of them, a little club, get together, boom, you got a little growth. Okay? So this all is coming from white fat. So it creates the seeds, right? It fertilizes the seeds of tumors, then it feeds the tumor.
I'm pissed off. You know why?
Go ahead.
I be doing all this research, right?
Go ahead.
I look at cancer. It's a cell that's been mutated. I already know that.
You got
it's
it.
from food you eat and
You got
messed up and blah, blah, blah. We know that. They tell me, I'm reading, Sam, read.
Right.
It tells me you need to produce more white blood cells to attack all the scavengers, and that would basically send signals to the red blood cells to actually create more, and the white blood cells to kill it and not the red ones. And this is supposed to be holistic stuff I'm reading.
And you know what's fly? And I put it on the video so people can see it. It's up on YouTube also. Yeah. Minister Enqi, one word, MINISTERENQI, one word, SANGREAL, Sangreal, one word. That's my YouTube channel. I got it up there so you could see it. Guess what cancer cells look almost identical to? White blood.
Wow.
So sometimes you just see the pictures, grand opening, grand closing. Like I just put pictures up there and then walk away.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking about the lymphatic tissue, and you're saying that it sends out a signal to stop the lymphatic system from doing what it does. But the white blood cells are called phagocytes, right? And they,
Some of them.
They look like water when they move, and we always thought they engulf
Right.
the thing,
Right.
and then they take it back to the site and finish it off.
I'm listening.
Well, I wanted to hear your correction.
They're cannibal. So they eat other cells. Only because they got a good thing going. I got a good thing going. You're not moving it. It's my body. So I've already got this area locked down. I have a host. We've proliferated all through this host. And you're going to come in, you're going to compete with me for my food. So that's the only time white blood cells come into play. They see somebody trying to compete with them for the food, they'll stop that. But they're not necessarily going to be in there grabbing viruses and bacteria. That's not going to happen.
So what's all this stuff with the AIDS situation and the T cells, which are phagocytes?
That's an awesome question. HIV, and this is also in the book. I got the blood test and all the information in the book with the AIDS and stuff like that. It's called homing. They've given this a process. When the lymphatic system pulls this stuff out of your system, it's called homing. And that is actually the real definition of what HIV is. When your lymphatic system says, whoa, man, you mean to tell me we had these guys running loose through the body all this time? Stop pulling them suckers out. So it starts pulling the white blood cells out of circulation. That's all it is. And starts putting them in the lymph nodes to get rid of them. Then what do? They give you the medication to do what? Boost white blood cell count. And in between 6 and maybe 24 months, they have complications and they're gone. They're gone. So people, once they realize they have HIV, they take the medication, that's when they start going downhill. Unless they stay on the steroids, which allows their body to beef up and throw off the ratio of white blood cells to red blood cells, and then they're just like mutated into something totally different. But black people, just one more thing, black people have a very, very low amount of white blood cells in ratio to red blood cells, 45. A very low ratio. And it's also in the book. Got the test where they're showing arteriosclerosis, diabetes, all of those things are related to white blood cells all throughout the body. So, we're going to get back to the viruses though. In fact, oh, you had one more question?
Oh, the medicine. Where it suffocates the cell. The person themselves actually, like they suffocate, they start to turn gray.
Well, no, that's all. See, that's why when we deal with something like this, and you get it, that's why I want everybody to get the lingo, because it applies to everything. Because when people die from flu, like they see that, they're drowning. They're like, say for instance, somebody gets thrown in the ocean, they can't swim, they drown, they put up the body, do an autopsy, they say, okay, the person drowned. Somebody dies from the flu, the only difference between the body is they'll see like flu bacteria in the lungs and stuff like that, but they drowned. Because your body is sending, your lymphatic system, which is basically your water system, your body is sending so much water to the lungs to try to wash that stuff out, and then your mucous membrane produces so much mucus. If you're not getting that stuff out, that's why babies are more susceptible to it. Because what do? We can get that out all day. Babies are stuck with it. They can't do that. So they swallowing as it's producing more, and it fills up their lungs if they don't get it out, and they drown.
So if somebody dies from the flu, it looks like someone else, like someone who died
They
from
drown.
drowning,
They drown.
their lungs are
Edema.
bacteria.
It's like edema.
Liquid fluid, yep. They drown. In fact, same thing with people with AIDS. If you like see people with AIDS, mucus city.
Is it safe to say that if a person is vegan, you won't catch the flu?
No. You need to be on herbs. Herbs. In fact, in the Bible, when they was in the garden, they had one diet, which was basically fruits and vegetables. Then when they got the boot, fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Because they know that they would be dealing with the serpent, which is what a lot of these suckers look like. So, this is the job of white fat, excuse me. Brown fat is what does all the, I might have to slap somebody. The brown is what does all of the good benefits that we hear. So you got to keep a healthy amount of fat on the body for energy, and when you're low on glucose, your body can convert fat to energy and all that kind of stuff. That's what happens with the brown fat. Okay? White fat serves no purpose but to feed and create cancer cells in the body. So anybody that's sick, you can see a drastic improvement based on your exercise and your cardio, right? You stop doing that, you build up fat, and what's fat gonna do is feed and grow cancer.
Oh, never mind, you answered my question.
Right? All right. All right. You don't need that. Let's go back. Now that we got some of that stuff, let's go back to the virus action real quick. Now you got the backdrop on all that stuff that's happening.
Before you start back on the virus,
Fire it up.
because I have to run out soon, I want to talk about cholesterol
Go ahead.
and how do you treat it. I heard you saying something earlier about the building up and how, you know, very early when you first start talking about it. You know, with the fluids and how it washes out.
Uh-huh.
Explain when you have high cholesterol, which is something I have.
Technically, with high cholesterol, again, I drew it up there, right? What would cholesterol do? We put it in two categories.
White.
All right. So, you get in the bad cholesterol, right? It's a LDL, HDL,
Right.
scientific jargon again, from all of the starch, right? But cholesterol, even with that being said, is not really that big of wasn't that big of a problem until we got flipped in this little situation, right? Now, I've seen something weird in the Bible It's like, what's going on with this dude? Minister, Sunday school, you got these Bible references. We in church. In the Bible, it's like it was the night first, and then it was the day. The night, and then the day. But the way we live, day and night. Cholesterol wasn't a problem until we start getting boxed out of sunlight. Most of us don't get any sun. Right? We wake up, time we wake up, sun's not really up. We go to work or school, and we in work and school until when?
The sun goes down.
Sun goes down.
D3 and K.
Boom. So the problem is we're not getting any sunlight because sunlight converts cholesterol into vitamin D.
And I had a deficiency in D at one time.
Boom. So all you gotta do is get out there in the sun.
I know how to go out in the sun. I mean, I know.
Right.
I was a little now.
Yeah.
Before you were here.
Right. But that's the problem. That's popped up all over the place simultaneously. Cholesterol issues and vitamin D deficiency. And it's much easier for them to tell you, we got vitamin D1, D2, vitamin D3. You can pick this up over here. You can pick it up over there. Instead of saying, take off the sun. But see, they also got us on what? The hats, sunglasses. We wear sunglasses in the wintertime. In fact, I was on YouTube, right, debating, I don't know what the subject was I was debating with his brother. His name is Larry. He was arguing at some point with me, and it's the wintertime, and he got on sunglasses. I'm like, bro, how do you have knowledge of self with sunglasses on? You don't know your knowledge of self. You have sunglasses on. It's the wintertime. A. B, you're blocking sunlight from entering. The most direct entrance into your body is the eyeball. So they have us on that. So if not for that, yeah. So if not for that, but it's a good question, not for you because I'm speaking to.
Yeah, that's good.
To everybody else.
And it was because of that, we were arguing with him about the Caucasian coming from us.
Right.
Instead of,
right.
And you know what was so profound and really piqued my interest and really I needed to.
And you've seen that, huh?
Yeah, because you put up something that was profound in there. And I saw it on TV just this week on Channel 12 that in the non-European, non-Chinese population, there is virtually no, or if any, a small piece because of the race, Neanderthal DNA.
That's right.
You brought that up, and I was like, oh, wow, that's profound. And
Yep.
even they're admitting it now on TV. It's incredible.
Yep, so he was telling me all these theories and stuff. I was like, that's deep. I love to hear theories and everything. However, if science is telling us something, and then not even us, because we don't have laboratories. So Europeans was telling you where Europeans was from. Why would I argue with that? You said you came from the, okay, there you go. We got pictures, evolution. We came from the monkey, then we got to the caveman. Black folks, you know, we seen Django, right? Everybody seen Django, right?
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson, up! Not my master. I don't care what he said he came. He said he came from monkey. I don't care what he said he came from monkey. He's a divine being. Master, you must be crazy. I don't know what made you say that.
Plantation.
So. We'll say chest to make it easier. Body. Chest, body. Say ditto, and then we'll say cold symptoms. Let's see. Remember earlier we talked about the 3 basic categories for influenza? Say yes, yes. Say no. Yes, yes, no. Say yes. Bro. All right. So now, this is just real quick because we're gonna move along fast because
That's saying the symptoms.
it's time to go to DC so we can see Obama. We gotta see Obama. Oh, chest and body. So if you have a type A flu, or like CDC says, influenza-like illness, then you'll have symptoms in chest and body. So with type B. Type C is tricky. That's why I said earlier about the symptoms of the cold. All you have to do is have cold symptoms, but you still have the flu. You just haven't got a fever, but it's still the flu. Even though in order to technically have flu, you have to have a fever, but you don't have to have a fever sometimes. All right. So it doesn't make sense, so don't try to do that to yourself. Type A and type B both cause epidemics, as well as pandemics. I should have put that there also. Pandemics. The only difference between, oh, you know what? Let's bring up something good. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about this, which is more SJ for you. Baselines. All right? And what type of baseline we know? Rock, boom, on the baseline is over. But in medical terms, the baseline is the average. Because technically, these viruses, even when they're not on the news, are hard at work killing folks. Right? And they get an average. So say, let's say every year 20,000 people check into the hospital on a normal basis. That's the baseline for flu. So an epidemic is technically whenever we go over the baseline. If we go a little over the baseline, we got an epidemic. Whenever we go way over the baseline, you have a pandemic. So the only difference between pandemic and epidemic is carnage. How many folks got to take days off work? How many folks dropping dead? And so on and so forth. And in some cases, taking days off work is almost the same as dropping dead, right? So what's in the vaccine? All of the vaccines always have a little bit of type B and type A. A little bit of type B and type A. So just this alone is dangerous in itself because most of us don't go get a shot if we're going to go that route until we feel funny. So we get a little funny, we know we got a bug, we go get the flu vaccine, which is more bugs, right? So this is why I gave you the definition to the viruses. So now what? Flu we know is a recombinant virus. So what they telling you in the place there? Oh, these are inactive forms of the virus. So don't worry about it. These are inactive. So once I have the inactive form floating around, it's already in the air, the active form, right? So once I get now 3 in there, what does it do? Recombine. And I have something new floating in my body that they don't even have an index for out there. And guess what I'm gonna do?
Give it up.
We share that with all my family and friends. Right? And that brings us to these guys. Drift and shift. Right? We seen that? Who was in that movie? Bow Wow? Tyrese? Tokyo Drift? Yeah. Drift is basically the average, again, we back to the baseline, of time that these things mutate. So technically they know, like I was talking to a brother, I'm gonna put him out there, but the brother told me, yeah, you know, I had a bout with the flu this year. It took me about 4 days, and it seems like that happens every 2 years. I said, see, well, you could be used as a good index, like the hospitals do, for how often this happens, how often the virus localized in the area shifts. Every time it shifts, that means that it's completely new. So when I showed you before what the virus looks like, right? Inside, we know A and B have 8 strands of RNA, type C has 7 strands of RNA, right? All right. So when those strands of RNA change a little bit, just little pieces of each strand change, that's called drift. So slowly but surely, little pieces change until whole strands change. That's drifting. Shift is when, out of nowhere, there's just new strands of RNA in there. They don't know where they came from. That's the only difference between shift. And usually, shift is what happens when you get what creates epidemics and pandemics, because nobody in the neighborhood has a context in their body for how to deal with that. See, one of the ancient sciences was if a child or a baby got sick, the parent would drink some of the spit from the baby and spit back in the baby's mouth. Scientifically, it works. I take it in, my advanced immune system, process that, boop, 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 like Popeye the spinach, and shoot you back the new jacked up DNA that's looking for them jumps. You messing with my baby. Oh. You out of there. Right? But to the untrained eye, that might look savage. It even sounds a little savage, like he's spitting in the mouth. But old school, a lot of parents,
Old school was shooting
moms,
up.
that's right, they suck the mucus out the baby's noses. So they still doing that. Because they sucking the mucus, going in the mouth. Anything that goes in your mouth, right under here, right under your tongue, that soft tissue, that leads directly to your bloodstream. So anything you put in your mouth is going right into the blood. Technically, we never need to take needles. Put it under your tongue, right into the bloodstream. ASAP.
Strengthen the breast milk.
So,
that's your flu shot.
That's an excellent flu shot. All right. All right. So, all right, we got that. We got pretty much everything. All right. So, let's start wrapping up. That got questions or more questions. Think of them. Get ready to fire them up. And we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna.
How you feel about ATP?
Taking ATP? No way.
Okay. And the D rose is it D-I-R?
D-ribose?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
ATP is produced naturally in the mitochondria.
Right.
In fact, the mitochondria is where your DNA is at. Good question. So that's actually the target where these viruses are going. They got to get into the mitochondria where your DNA is at. So that's another reason why you feel so fatigued, because in the mitochondria, that's the engines of your cells. Let's look at some mitochondria. All right, so we got.
It's like what he was saying.
I could draw good, boy. I've been.
To give you, if you don't.
This is like this.
But I'm thinking if it stops, your body can produce it. You know,
In the matrix.
Yeah, feed your cells. It's like cell food.
Outer matrix. And also, I got videos up on this joint on YouTube as well.
Cool.
But then you got boom, boom, boom. And then you got like, this one looks a little crazy. It's like a turbine. So you hear maybe some of us that are looking into scientific stuff, like splitting water molecules, and that's like high advanced science, blah, blah, blah. It's not advanced. It's happening all the time in your body. All 24/7. That's how your body creates energy, by splitting water molecules inside the mitochondria. And it splits them, it sends the protons out into this area, okay? So this area is going to have a positive charge. And since it's sending the protons out this way, that means on the inner matrix, you got a negative charge, right? And it uses these electrons to send them through the electron transport chain. And they're moving around that chain at light speed. In fact, that's where they got the whole Iron Man thing, right? You see all of your cells is happening in the mitochondria all the time.
So that's the actual ADT.
ATP, that's right.
I mean, right.
Absolutely.
The
That's
protons
right.
come out.
And this right here is an enzyme at the end of the electron transport chain that turns like a big turbine. It causes, it's called like photophosphorylation, right? More scientific jargon. And basically that just means that what they're doing is recycling these protons back in here to keep this process going. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. In fact, it's this process breaking down that makes your body susceptible in the first place, because as a byproduct of this, right, we're splitting water molecules, right? A water molecule is H2O. So we're splitting water molecules down, and all throughout your body, let's say this, You got water everywhere. All right? They name it different things in different places, but it's still water. So when you get into the organs and stuff like that, they call it interstitial fluid. All right? So you got interstitial fluid all around here. As you split these water molecules and you're splitting them up, you're going to add these extra, you're going to kind of create ions like that. Now you still have these regular H2O floating around interstitial fluid. As these oxygens get added to the water, these loose oxygens, because they're going to use the hydrogen ions, the electrons, for the transport chain. So as these positive ions get added back here, now you have what? H2O, what? I'm adding one oxygen with one oxygen, so it's H2O2. And what is that?
Peroxide.
Bam. So the hydrogen peroxide floating around in interstitial fluid keeps it clean. However, we're not taking in good quality water. We're taking in garbage water. Some of it doesn't even qualify, just liquid, right? We're not on the momatomics like we should be. We're not picking it up from BlackandNobel where it's at, 24/7 located. You can get it any time. Then hit wink wink, Broad and Erie. Okay, it's there. It's here now. So this is what's basically going on with the whole mitochondria.
Hey, by the time I got involved with Herbalife and all, I came I listened to their products and all, H3O. How did that come about? Because that's like a fuel that you can have like on the go when you're on the move every day. I can put shit in I'm gonna say there's a nutrition club that used to be out there in Upper Darby. I used to go out there, but a lot of times they started getting closed. I still kept walking around looking for anybody like wearing something on them about Herbalife. There's one in South Philadelphia, Roy Schneider Avenue. The exact physical address is 1337 Schneider Avenue. And I go up in there and I have like their basic 3, which is aloe vera, the herbal tea concentrate, and a smoothie of various like flavors and all that got some high quality nutrition. It used to be $4, 2012. Just alternative yield dollar inflation.
And those 3 things combined are what they call H3O?
That's separate. They got different products, and nowadays I held on to the catalogs that I had. The last time that I was at my recovery and education program, just before I had to go in the hospital, the VA hospital, and stay with the night I was asking for a recent catalog so that I can.
Well, let me tell you this. Sometimes they use things that we're familiar with as good marketing strategies. So that might be the name of a product, H3O, but I can guarantee you that it's not actually H3O.
It's like a powder and like water.
Right. So that's what it is. It's just something that they use to raise the pH product. It's a pH product probably. But it's not going to be H3O because hydrogen is the most flammable substance, most flammable gas in existence, and oxygen is the most combustible gas in existence. So yeah, so H3O, we just probably want to get the Mama Thomas. It's easier. In fact, hydrogen is so light and flammable that you don't even find it in nature unless it's combined with something else. Okay, it has to be combined with something else for us to even find it. Now they do have other isotopes of hydrogen, which is what our water used to be made of. Okay, so you might want to look this word up and put this in your mental Rolodex. Yeah. So this is imaginary atom, okay? As we reading the Money Mindset, we know atoms don't really look like that. It's like a vortex, a black hole, but we'll roll with academia, all right? So you got an atom, inside there's a nucleus, inside there's a proton, match up with the electrons on the outside. This right here is what a hydrogen atom is supposed to look like. One electron paired up with one proton. Okay? What deuterium is another isotope of hydrogen. Still hydrogen, just a little different. You have one electron, one proton, and you have neutral. It's just a little heavier because it has more stuff in it. But our waters were much more dense with this instead of the stuff that is floating around now. So the water quality was different, the air was different, so we lived longer. It just was a different place.
Well, what does fluoride do to natural water then? Like
Destroy it. Fluoride is no good. Fluoride is no good.
Just before Frank Wyatt passed away, there was a major health summit, and it was at the African American Historical Museum, and there was a dentist beside from New Jersey. His first name was Donald. Matter of fact, Donald Robbins. And Donald Robbins was bringing up about the poisonous, like mercury and
the
things
fluoride,
like that.
absolutely.
And then he started and I still got the disc, and still played it actually not too long ago, talking about biodentistry. That's the savior right there, perhaps. Get all of it pulled out your mouth. Get it all pulled out your mouth, because all diseases start right in the first digestive system, which is your mouth. And you have a chance, get it all replaced with different types of, and I heard these different names and words, but biodentistry. And then I started asking the dentist that was working on my mouth here in Philadelphia. And they got angry at first. They got angry. They really didn't even want me to say nothing to them. And they were like, dentists that thought that we got into an argument at first, but then we got to discussion and all.
Well, let's say this.
But they haven't told me again.
I'm getting the wrap-up cues, but let's say this. We want to think like this. We want to take care of ourselves in a way where we don't need to do that. By the time we need to go see the dentist, we already in trouble. The mercury and all that stuff doesn't come in the mouth until what? We already in trouble. We already got cavity. We already need a root canal. We already in trouble. So technically, if you do all the right things, you and dentists don't do nothing but say hello in passing. So we don't even want to be in there. We don't want to get deep with dentists. We don't want to know the new dentist technologies to fix broken things, because we want all our things fixed. So the two strategies to avoid these things that's floating around. We can expose ourselves to the virus, like with the vaccine, right? Slightly, if you want to take that approach, slightly less risky way to vaccinate yourself is tap water, right? Because tap water is what? Like when you go to the store, and this is what people, I'm not messing with you. People go to the store and they buy purified water, filtered water, right? What is that?
Tap water.
Tap water, right? But even tap water is a nice way of kind of dumbing us down to what tap water is, right? We have to get it in our minds. Tap water or purified water means that somebody pissed and shitted in your drink. Right? I gotta say it like that so we get it like that.
Yeah, that's right.
When you go to the bathroom, you let it loose, right? That water flushes, goes where it goes. They clean it, quote unquote, and then they might rebottle it or send it back to the pipes. But that's what you're getting. So now we got to think about our society, our community, because that's where the tap water comes from. Your local community. So what do you have in your community? You have very healthy people, right? Right? You got sick people, cancer patients, AIDS, crackheads, heroin addicts, everything, right? You got people on all kind of medications, senior citizens. And what do? They let that go. Now what happens? That water goes from there, some local place, some local cooling, right, reservoir, something like that. And what does it do? It sits there stagnant, which is great for who? Bacteria. All right. Now how do they clean it? Do they take all the germs and the bad things out of the water? No. They just add some chemicals to that. So it's not like they take the urine, the feces, and the virus and the bacteria out. No, they leave that in there and just add a little flavoring. Right? Flavoring. Chemicals. Boom. So we add some chemicals to the urine, the feces, like the vomit, right? The cancer, the all that Medicaid, all that, and then put it back through the pipes. And they tell you to worry about fluoride.
And the water actually brown, but the fluoride and all that clears the water out.
Listen, I was in Georgia when the water was coming out the tap, setting on fire.
Yeah, they got it up here. We got it up here. They doing the fracture.
So, if you want to get a vaccine,
put a lighter right
boom,
on the water.
you expose everything with a little tap.
Yeah, they fractured me.
So every so often, little tap, you don't need a vaccine. It's a little tap, boom. But if you want to go the non-invasive way, right? Because I just got some bad news, right? Because when we see stuff on the news or we hear about stuff, it's kind of non-related and we're disconnected. Until it happens to a friend and then it hits home, or maybe even yourself, you know, it becomes real. So I'm in the car with my man. I just get news from somebody in New York. Boom. They was crossing the street with their kids, and a pregnant woman in front of them got hit by a car running the red light. Bam. So it's already tough on the children, right? So I tell it to my homeboy, he like, yeah, man, that's crazy, because, you know, my girlfriend, her best friend, she just took her daughter to get the vaccine. She got the vaccine for the flu, and now she's paralyzed from the vaccine. So I'm not saying don't take the vaccine. Consult your local health authorities. I'm not. So consult your local health authorities and do what you think you should do.
What about vaccines like the MMR, the measles, mumps, rubella, and like autism?
They all fit into these categories. That's why it's so good to get this info, because you can just apply it. If they're giving you a vaccine for the mumps or the measles or rubella, what's in the vaccine guaranteed? Before we get into the chemicals and the crazy stuff, what's in there? Mumps, measles, rubella.
What water would you cook in?
I don't do anything with this. I wash in this. That's it. I don't do nothing else with this. I don't cook with this. I don't do nothing with this. Spring water only. So I'll be the first one to let that water go. Then somebody else buying purified water will get my old spring water.
I have a question. It's practically no way getting around it, because the skin is the biggest organism, right? And you wash it. So it's really, you know, drink it. I mean, but your skin, using warm water, so you pour.
We out here. We out here.
Right.
So there's no way really around it. We gotta beef up. So that's where this comes into play.
The larger concern is with the steam in the water.
That's where two things come into play. Herbs and electricity.
Fig tree.
Herbs, electricity, not fig tree. Amber Institute. Herbs, electricity. Herbs kill bacteria, virus, fungus, things like that. They should always be a part of your diet. That's what they was invented for, before they got perverted. We didn't come up with the herbs and spices to flavor the food. In fact, you look back, you'll see big bloody battles that they fought over herbs and spices, the herb spice trade and all that stuff. And people want to circumvent your common sense and make you think that people were killing each other to flavor their chicken. Hundreds of thousands of people dying in these wars so they could have cinnamon. No. They were dying already. And your ancestors had the science to keep them alive. So all those outsiders were coming in to get those herbs, and they would fight to the death for it, because if they didn't get it, they was dying anyway. So that's what that's all about. And we put it on the food, so that way, no matter what we ate, that was always on deck. The herbs was always floating around in the system. So this is how you're going to kill them, okay, without necessarily going this direction. Go that direction, and then you can go this direction, the electricity direction, which, hint, hint, wink, wink, first ever photovoltaic supplement, right? What photovoltaic means is that it helps convert sunlight into electricity. helps convert sunlight into electricity. Now, nobody really wants to talk about this. So you're not going to find any hardcore research on this unless you know how to find it. I'm going to show you how to find it right now. Hopefully you got that, because we got to get rid of it. Now, how you find research on that? Right? Everybody knows this. Bacteria, yeast, and fungus cannot survive in a what?
Oxygen.
All right. Oxygenated environment. Right? Why? Because the same reason we breathe oxygen. Let's look at an oxygen atom. All right, so you got 8. All right, cool. This doesn't look good, but it's there. You got 8 protons in the middle there, balancing the 8 electrons in the outer valence, right? The reason we breathe oxygen is because oxygen is so acidic that the bonds that normally hold and bind the electrons to the atom are loose. So loose that your lungs can separate the electrons from the nucleus. Hold on, bro. Can separate the electrons from the nucleus and imbue them into the blood. So that's what this is about. This is code word in scientific jargon for electricity. What is electricity? Just in case we don't know. Any flow of electrons. Right? So what's another code word for this? We hear it a lot. Negative ions. Right? And all the negative ion is a group, these guys, where you have a negative, and a positive. Since you have 2 negatives and a positive and the positive cancel each other out, and you're dealing with the negative, so it's an easy way to get electrons into the blood. I got you in.
I was thinking when you said acid, like since I have like a can, I can have like a nice container of a source of life gold in my refrigerator, and I have a big pot of waters and herbs, certain herbs with this here. A lot of good herbs in here that's cleaning out my blood, my lymph system. And I've been eating like raw vegetables. I've been like yesterday, infusions and stuff. I'm getting a little more confident that I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night after a little light nap and have some cognitive thinking and be able to like think soberly and clean my apartment up. Like, that's going to be a good job, and it should be my job only.
That's awesome. Let's go, bro.
The negative ions, right? Is that the same? From what you just said, is like that the same philosophy for the Orgone energy with the pyramids, and it create the Orgone energy, and it creates the negative ions? And
absolutely. That's why the negative ions is healthy. Absolutely, to breathe in and everything. But it's all code word for this. Because if you talk about this, then what you want me to do? Shout out, man! Shout out.
To invest in your products to save my preserve me.
So this is code word for this, because if they talk about this, then this comes into play. The nasty old M word, right? And then it becomes common sense and not racism if you say the more of this you have, the more life you have, right? Because what's animating your body is this. So the more this you have, more of this you have to have. Or what happens in some rare instances around the world? Spontaneous combustion, right? You may have too much of this. Let's make it simple. If you got speaker wires, 20 watt, You try to run 40 watts through there. What's going to happen to the speaker wires? Grand opening, grand closing. So the more of this you have, the more of this you can run through your speaker wires. And in fact, what are speaker wires made of?
Copper. Conductor.
All right. And this is also made of copper. Synthesized in your body by tyrosinase. Tyrosinase from tyrosine. Tyrosine is nothing but copper. Right? All right. So when they talk about this, they're talking about this. So you do the herbs, you got a situation, we can address it with the herbs, clean it up, beat up the bad guys, but then you have to constantly maintain a high level of this so that the bad guys don't come back in the body, right? And then we also know that these things require, see, it all makes sense once you get this. Because what is a byproduct? Two things are byproducts of electricity. And they break them down, and people sound real smart when they break them down, right? Magnetic field, right? People say, start talking about magnetic fields, they sound deep. Yeah, well, you got it. And then what else? Light. That's where light comes from. Electricity. Anytime you have a flow of electrons, you're going to have a magnetic field, you're going to have light. These things can't survive in light. So you add an electricity to the body, which you add into the body. Grand opening, grand closing. Right?
I'm really light skinned. I'm really light skinned.
Absolutely.
You really like something.
I'm really light skinned.
Yeah. That's true though.
No, I'm really
That's
light
true.
skinned.
You really like something.
You missed your day,
I'm on the plantation, baby.
Django! Django! All right. So these would be the safe ways to go. That's Sunday school for this week. 2 weeks. We'll be back here on the 3rd. Then after that, we'll be back here on the 10th. It's going to be me and Ali. And we're going to be like, it's going to be crazy. Prince is going to open up.
Yeah. There you go, baby.
Yes. In fact,
You gonna get this work.
In fact, that's right. Prince is coming up to the front.
That's right, Prince.
Come on, Prince.
Because Prince actually put the event together with me and Ali. So it's not Minister Enqi's event with Ali Muhammad. It's not Ali Muhammad's event with Minister Enqi. It's Prince's event.
Yeah, look at
Right? Now listen, let me show y'all something about this face. They have wanted posters of this face in every vegan restaurant. Right? Because he comes to your vegan restaurant, it might only be white folks in there buying vegan food. If you see him one time, instantly, you're going to have about 50 to 100 black folks buying vegan food in your restaurant. He is like the Harriet Tubman. Did you not? The Harriet Tubman for black folks that are starched out and meated out. Meated out. That's like, ooh, I think I just make it meated out? Okay, that's new. Pause. That might be crazy. Might be crazy.
No, hold on, take that meat out your mouth.
What you want me to do, huh? Shout out. What you want me to do? So this is the man, and very humble brother, you know, too humble. We're working on fixing that. Right? We had to drag him up to the front of the room, right? Brother's very deep, very well informed, but instead, he wouldn't put me and Ali in the front of people. It's all right. I'm gonna grab you, get you up here. Okay? You guys, so you might want to elaborate on, you know.
I'm Prince Joseph. I'm a health coach. I'm from Blumberg Projects, Golden Gloves champion. I put the.
I'm sorry. Hold on. You said?
I said I'm Prince Joseph.
No. The last part.
I'm from Blumberg Projects.
No, the best part.
Oh, Golden Gloves champion.
Golden Gloves champion. Golden Gloves champion, right? So let me put that in a different way. Because like I said, too humble, right? Golden Gloves. not Golden Gloves participant, right? Anyone can participate. We can all get some gloves in there and get hit in the head and fall on the ground. Champion, so that means that what he's telling you is not theory. He doesn't need a certification from anywhere to prove it. True. Because he's put what he knows into action and demonstrated it. I'm at the top of my class. Everyone here that's competing is supposed to be in the best shape of their life, and I'm in a little better shape. What's the difference? Right? Everybody in the gym, we all seen Rocky, right? With no competitor in front of you, we all look good. It's a whole different thing when that back starts growing arms, right? Then it becomes conditioning. Because when you have a trainer, your trainer's going to give you the basics. As you get in the ring and you go through amateurs, you're going to learn the tricks of the trade. Everyone has that. What's the difference between a competitor and a champion? Conditioning. What is the most solid conditioning? Internal conditioning. Second round, third round, fourth round, it's cool. I'm here, you there. 7th round, 8th round, I'm here. You might not be here. 9th round, 10th round is over. I'm just hitting you, right? We gotta stop it, right? And everybody's not a boxer, but everybody has a job. Everybody has children. Everybody hopefully has a partner that we wanna, hey, I'm just saying, Viagra's making a lot of money for a reason, right? And that's very dangerous, okay? So, you know, I'll just let you, what influenced you to put the event together, big brother?
You, Pop, Tice, you know what I'm saying? I love the events that they throw already, so I'm like, let me bring Ali together, because the little stuff was going on in the conscious community, the beats and everything, so I said, let me bring two great brothers together and get the information to the people, so that's what I did.
Any questions for the Golden Gloves champ? Like,
wait. Well, I was fighting at 106, I was fighting at 112, and I won the Golden Gloves at 119.
So what is that? What's the
bantamweight?
So as we went through all that, and just to drive it home, I got you, hold on. Just to drive it home a little bit more, so we talked about the fat, right? You heard what weights he fighting at, so that means there's an absence of fat. All right, what you saying?
So you mean to tell me a vegan, not necessarily, they don't wear dashikis and koofies and stuff?
Not in 2013, they don't.
Yeah, swagged out vegan? Bring it
Swagged out vegan.
Swagged out vegan.
Long arm.
You have Kobe Bryant, he just announced that he's been vegan for the last couple of years. Bernard Hopkins, and some other athletes that are vegan now.
And that's deep. You said that because it's like the world, we're not that far disconnected from each other.
And Maul cut Kobe hair.
I was about to say that. So Prince done influenced Maul, and then Maul cut Kobe hair.
And Bernard Shop's
something
hair.
about him holding his head. it just
throwing the waves up.
And Bernard Shop's hair.
Hold on. I've been eating dead animals all the time.
His barbershop in Philly.
Yeah.
That's right. So where do you cut hair at, Maul?
I cut hair at Total Look Barbershop, 2054 Stanton Avenue. It's up West Oak Lane. For those of you that don't know, I did cut Kobe Bryant, Elton Brand. You got Jordan Hill from the Lakers also. I had a couple McDonald's.
Hold on. This is the guys that are going vegan.
Okay.
The guys that are going vegan.
Kobe. And plus Kobe was named after Kobe beef.
Yes. And he also cut our hair.
When are you doing your lecture?
Well, I will be coming very soon. I'm learning from the brothers like Enqi, of course, Minister Enqi, and then my young old head right here, Prince Joseph, of course, and just like his vast knowledge at that young age, and then the typical thing as far as, you know, like the dashikis, like I was joking around with, but you know, you see him, he's from the hood though, you know what I mean, quote unquote hood.
And trust me, it's brothers that's just floating around, that's nameless, that wish to remain nameless, but you can use, if you know any of these people, you can use them as inspiration, because they might be 50, 60 years old, right? and they might be in better shape than folks that's 25. I know a brother right now, he throw 150, 200 pounds on his neck. He jumping up and down, 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, come on, Enqi, grab this weight. Jump up and down with it. I'm like, what? Jump up and down with
And we want to shout out to Mama K with the live foods, the live pies.
And anybody else back there? And who else?
Yeah, Has got them pies.
Sister Zakia.
That's right. Zakia with the, right? Zakia with the, and they can all be found at Black.
Hold on, listen.
Just had a birthday. I just had 75, January 2nd.
Wow. So again, the live food, the vegan food, the vegetarian lifestyle, you can see it at play. You can see it working, and what that's going to translate into is we're going to start to get back into where we needed to be with our lifespan, right? And as we start to demonstrate the health, we demonstrate the power, we demonstrate the strength, it'll catch on. That's the only thing that the youth, that's why they block it out, because they don't see the power in it. It's just about power now. It's just like, look, the oppression, the depression, the stress, and went generation to generation to generation. So now they're just uninterested in anything that doesn't translate into power. So now you got to show them this is where the power's at. Because you bearded up, you drugged up, you mollied up. We're in the 99-cent store, the mixed CD, somebody released a mixed CD called Mollies and Alcohol. Like, what is it? Insanity and death? Like, how do we reword that? Like, so when we start making it cool, trendy, to be strong, to be articulate, to have clean skin, okay, stop buying them products, the skin products. So you have to do is stop eating the garbage, you know, and then it translates. So, what you want me to do?
Come out February 3rd for Enqi event, and February the 10th, Ali and Enqi event.
And
Prince event. BlackandNobel.
BlackandNobel. Not Noble. BlackandNobel. Right? Tice be like chopping necks. Gotta see Tice in action. You say Noble? So, we're getting ready to ride out, see Obama, and make us like $5 or $6, and we thank everybody for coming out.
Put the song on.
Oh, yes. And I gotta throw my theme music back on. As we exit. So we still exit, but it's the theme music that comes on. Sunday school. I am the minister.
Right off the Barnary sub-stop, Philadelphia, PA. Shot so loud you would think it was a club spot. African Americans, although we all over the web, we the hood librarians. We ship to prisons too. We reach out and deliver to those that's bitten too, but it's more than a bookstore. You want it, we got it. Mixtapes, DVDs, and culture products. BlackandNobel got our hands in a lot of projects. We welcome all to come build. The energy is positive. Every member of the team is awake and conscious. Come through and experience this place of knowledge. They say they'll put it in a book if they wanna hide it from us, but we got them books so you can buy it from us. Something to read while you on a train or riding the bus. Get your read on, food for thought, get your eat on. BlackandNobel. I buy my books at BlackandNobel. BlackandNobel. I buy my books at BlackandNobel. BlackandNobel. I buy my books at BlackandNobel.